Hey y'all, welcome to Fitting and Homemaking. Today we are going to take a look at how I did during the month of January for my first month of my low spend year. I do apologize if I'm going to be looking down some in this video. I have notes on my computer because I do not remember all of the numbers and I want to present this information in a somewhat cohesive way, okay? So in the video about my goals for 2025, the first goal that I set was to be able to pay off my car by the end of this year. And I said that it was a stretch goal, which it still is. But the main way I was going to set about trying to achieve that goal was to have a low spend year. So I wanted to check in after my first month. And I'm saying a low spend here rather than no spend because obviously I'm going to be spending money on things like groceries and other necessities. In addition to like the basic necessities, I am allowing myself a little bit of leisure spending. There are a few things that I will allow myself. So one of those, which is actually part of our household expenses, is going to be one date per month with my husband. And that's like a going out date. So like paying for a restaurant, making sure we have childcare, all of that sort of thing. So that's one thing that I am allowing myself. Another thing is I have a few friends where I maintain our friendship generally by meeting them out for lunch or meeting them out for coffees. So I am allowing myself to do that. I'm not allowing myself to go out and get food if I'm just on my own or if it is not a part of maintaining a relationship. And then the last kind of leisure expending category that I'm allowing myself is getting people gifts for birthdays or anniversaries or celebrations, that sort of thing, right? So next month that would include Valentine's Day. This month that included my husband's birthday. So those are things that I am including in my low spend guidelines for myself. Something that is not included that I was doing a lot of was refilling my snack drawer at work and buying like pre-made lunches, like frozen meals, pre-made snacks, those sorts of things. That was starting to get quite expensive. So that is one area of spending that I am not allowing myself to do this year. Instead, I'm taking leftovers. I'm making sure that anything is in our grocery budget where I can, put together some yogurt and fruit to take for a snack rather than buying prepackaged snacks that are far more expensive, right? So let's take a look at what I did in January. I do split household and family expenses with my husband. So we have a joint account for those items, but the rest of our finances are largely separate. We met a little bit later in life and we just had our own stuff going on, and this seemed to be the easiest way to join ourselves financially while still kind of maintaining some personal freedoms that we both wanted. So for my husband's financial privacy, since that is joint with him, I'm not going to go through our bills like line item by line item and tell you what each of those are. But our total household expenses for January ended up being $4,995.02. So that includes all of these things I'm about to list. It includes our mortgage with the escrow, internet, car insurance, pet insurance, our groceries, our electric bill, our natural gas bill, our water and sewer bill, the cost of our phones, by that phone lines, our HOA, our Amazon Prime subscriptions, and the kids' expenses like diapers and their health insurance and any doctor's copays. And last but certainly not least, because it is by far our biggest bill, daycare. Of that nearly $5,000 budget this month, daycare accounts for about $2,500 of it. It's a little bit less than that this month because it was a less expensive month for daycare. Our daycare is actually billed weekly, and some months have 4 Mondays in them, and some months have 5 Mondays in them. So January was a 4-Monday month, so we only had to pay for 4 weeks of daycare. There are other months, I believe March is one where there are 5 Mondays in March. So our daycare costs are going to be over $3,000 that month. So you can kind of see how huge of a percentage of our expenses daycare is, and why my husband and I live quite frugally, knowing that there's just going to be these couple of years where my son and daughter are both in daycare, so our daycare expenses are just very high right now. But that's the big household picture. My part of this month was $2,477.51, which about half of that's daycare, right? Like I just said. Now, those are the household expenses, so I just transfer that into our joint account. Outside of that, I do have other expenses, right? So my car payment specifically, which is what I'm trying to get rid of this year, gas for my car, and then of course any gifts for people or any other unexpected personal expenses. So my car payment each month is $385.54. That is what I'm required to pay each month. This month I spent $23.74 in gas for the car, which is actually quite low. Normally I fill up at least twice a month, but I think it just hit this month where I filled up late in December, had one to fill up in January, and then I'll probably have to fill up my car again on Monday, so probably the day before this, a day or two before this video post, but it will fall into my February expenses. So the month just hit weird with gas for the car where it was quite inexpensive. And then a couple of unexpected or miscellaneous expenses that I usually do, plan for some wiggle room in my budget was I had to get my coat dry cleaned because my son was sick on and off throughout the month, and he actually puked on the sleeve of my coat. So I wanted to get that dry cleaned instead of wearing a coat with puke on it. And then I also needed to buy more vitamins this month. So the dry cleaning and the vitamins totaled to $35.67. All right, and like I said before, this month was my husband's birthday, fell in this month. So I ended up spending $106.46 on his birthday. So that included gifts, balloons, other celebratory party stuff, right? So I actually didn't think that was too bad. I had zero of the leisure spending of going getting coffees or lunches with friends. My husband and I did do our date this month, but that also fell into the household expenses. And then I just told you what I paid for gifts for my husband. I was very good, and I did not do any extra trips for the grocery store to fill up my snack drawer. So I was very proud of myself for that because I've gotten into a bad habit with that. Okay, so my total expenses for January, both household and personal, ended up being $3,028.92. All right, so those are my expenses. So what is my income? My take-home pay, so what actually hits my bank account after insurance, tax, retirement, other fees I have to pay through my job, is $3,762.41, which is amazing. I'm still adjusting to having gotten that raise in December. So that, less my expenses this month, left me with an extra $733.49, which was way more than I thought I was going to be able to do this month. And all of that went to paying down my car loan. I am filming this on January 31st. So I just paid all of those bills this morning because I get paid at the end of each month, once a month. So after making that big car payment, so I paid that on top of my normal $385.54. So now I have $9,577.39 left on my car loan, which is still a lot, right? So like I said in my 2025 goals video, this is a stretch goal to get it paid off by the end of the year. I am really, really happy with how January went. Please let me know in the comments below how you feel about this kind of content, if you want further updates on my financial goals, if it's not your cup of tea. For me, managing a household budget and the spending is a very large part of managing a household, and it's because you want to be able to make plans for those bigger future goals. And if you don't know what money's coming in and going out each month, and you're not thinking about it strategically, then it's going to be really hard if you have larger, expensive goals that you would like to achieve in the future, right? So for me, not having a car payment after this year is going to allow me to put my money in other places and really prioritize other financial goals, right? Stuff like my kids' college fund, right? My kids are still pretty little, but I need to start now to build up those funds, and possibly looking at getting a bigger house in a few years after we're not paying for daycare anymore, right? So I'd like to be able to focus on those things and not having this nearly $400 car payment each month is going to help me be able to do that. All right. Thank you so much for watching to the end. Please go ahead and like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.